Hello, everybody, and good afternoon. My name is Mike Smith, and I am part of the account team here with CVS Health and CVS Caremark. We provide your pharmacy benefits, which you may not be entirely familiar with, but that's perfectly okay. Hopefully that means you're nice and healthy. So with this benefit, we help you get your prescriptions through the pharmacy or through mail order or the specialty pharmacy, whatever situation, you or your family might be in. We have a short slide here, or a short slide deck here today. We're just going to look at a few different details about the plan, just to see, what you should keep an eye out for and something that might help you along the way. So without further ado, of course, I said we represent CVS Caremark, but you might have heard of CVS Pharmacy, CVS Minute Clinic, or CVS Health Hubs. We're all under the same umbrella of CVS Health, we're all related here. And we work with the NAPEBT plan. So, we work in conjunction with them and, bring those benefits to life to benefit you. Alrighty. The things that we do focus on, like I said, are particularly bringing to life what NAPEBT would like to cover for the trustee members, determining what medications will be covered, the costs and the prescriptions, how and where they will be filled, as well as providing the various tools that can be used by the membership. The most useful and quickest tool at your disposal will be the CVS Caremark app or caremark.com. There's a myriad of functions on the website that you can use. The most important being reviewing your plan details, looking at where you stand in terms of your progress on your deductible and out of pocket, checking in to find what available pharmacies are near you, or checking the medication costs before you even go and fill them. You can always customize the amount, the dosage, the day supply, and anything of that nature before you put it in, so you'll know, what your copay will be and what you can expect at the pharmacy when you arrive. All right, and also please keep in mind that when you register, you will need to use your ID card and ID number before you register. All right. So looking here at the main plans for NAPEBT, we have the buy-up and the base plan here in the center and on the left, and on the right we have the HDHP. Below that, we have the copays here for the base and the buy-up. One thing I do want to call out is that while 30-day supplies and 90-day supplies are both permitted and encouraged, we always recommend going with the 90-day supply. Reason being is that the NAPEBT plan has set themselves up to have double the copay, but you get 3 times the medication. So you're kind of saving 30% or 33% every time you go to the pharmacy and fill that 90-day supply instead of filling the 30-day supply. Also on the base and buy-up plan, please note that specialty copays are non-applicable, as the plan has added the PrudentRx program to these 2 plans. We'll speak a little bit more about this in just a moment, but with this plan added on, all specialty medications will adjudicate through the PrudentRx program and will adjudicate at $0 to you when you go to fill those medications. We see that the refill limit for 30-day supplies is limited to 30, or 90-day supplies limited to 90. The main difference here, differentiating factor being whether or not this is going to be an acute medication or a maintenance medication. Maintenance medications are those medicines that you're going to be taking long-term, such as atorvastatin to manage a heart condition, or amoxicillin to manage a small infection. Right. When we look down at the deductible, we see that there's no applicable deductible on the buy-up or base plan. But for the maximum out-of-pocket, we see that there's an individual limit on the buy-up plan, an individual limit of $2,350, and the family limit is $4,700. Under the base, the out-of-pocket limit is $2,350, and the family limit is also $4,700. And then looking over to the right, a little bit different here, I do want to call out that the copay structure is 20% with a minimum of $8 before. And then we see that the deductible is set to $1,750 or $3,500 for family. And the maximum out-of-pocket is $4,500 or $9,000 for family. It's also important to keep in mind that those accumulator amounts here for the HDHP plan, those are going to be in conjunction with dollars that you spend through medical. So if you go to a doctor's office and you have a doctor's visit and you pay $100 for that visit, that money will flow through Blue Cross Blue Shield of Arizona and will be reflected in your amounts here on the CVS side. So they kind of travel together, which is certainly good to keep in mind. All right. So as I mentioned just a moment ago, the buy-up and base plan have the Prudent RX program. With this program, we are able to save patients money by maximizing available copay dollars or manufacturer copay dollars. A lot of medications, or specialty medications, I should say, will have copay cards or coupons associated, and we are able to take those dollars and maximize them for you and your family. And the end result is that all members will get $0 specialty medication through this Prudent RX program. Oh, and also just to note, if you are not sure whether or not you would apply, don't worry. Prudent RX will reach out to you via email or through standard mail. We will also look to call. And if you're still not sure, you can always call the CVS Specialty Pharmacy and they will verify whether or not you fall under the Prudent RX program. All right. Then just a quick reminder on how the high deductible health plan would work in terms of from the CVS and pharmacy benefits perspective. When you start in the deductible phase, all the way here on this side on the left, you will pay 100% of the medication until your family meets the annual deductible, which in our case is a individual deductible of $1,750 or a family deductible of $3,500. After that deductible is met, we move over to the co-insurance phase. That's where we saw the 20% with a minimum of $8. You will pay those copays until you meet the maximum out-of-pocket right here in this third section here. The maximum out-of-pocket amounts again being $4,500 for individual or $9,000 for a family. After you meet that limit there, you will pay $0 for any subsequent medications, as they will all be covered at that $0 threshold. Also important to keep in mind is that the amount you pay towards your deductible and your maximum out-of-pocket in the current year will not carry over to the following plan year. Right. And then something that's usually quite popular would be the Affordable Care Act Preventive Services drug list. It's important to keep in mind that these are medications that will pay with $0, even if you have not met your annual deductible or maximum out-of-pocket. Important thing, there's a whole list, of course, on your summary of plan benefits and design. But it's important to keep in mind that certain categories like contraceptives for women, tobacco cessation, and certain vaccines would all fall under this umbrella. And then also on top of that is the plan has elected to cover seasonal and non-seasonal vaccines at any network pharmacy for a $0 member copay. Excuse me. So with these categories, with these vaccines, they cover a multitude of categories that members can benefit from, including flu vaccines, pneumococcal, pneumonia, and just about anything you could think of. So always important to take advantage of the no-cost vaccinations at any pharmacy near you. Of course, this includes CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, Walmart, whatever might be most convenient for you. All right. And then speaking of filling those medications for 90 days, like I stated a little bit earlier, just a reminder that you are able to fill for 90 days at any network pharmacy. Again, if you're not sure if your pharmacy would fall under the network or not, just go onto cvscaremark.com and check the local pharmacy locator to find out which ones would fall under the network. By and large, all large chains are included, as well as a decent number of smaller mom and pop shops. So just make sure you check before you go. All right. That brings me to the end of the main slides. But I also want to include these ones here in the back, just to make sure that the important terms that you should know, ones that might be new to you. Just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page here. With some important call outs being generic medications. Like it says here, it says that they have the same active ingredients as the name brand medication, and they're usually the lowest cost option. And they are no longer branded. Usually come out a couple of years after the brand has been on the, out on the market. And in many cases, they are, always the same and always just as safe as the brand. Next, we have preferred brand medication. Preferred meaning it's a little bit less expensive, a little more affordable. So you will see that reflected in your copay. Also important to remember is that sometimes these medications usually don't have a generic alternative, or they are, just significantly more affordable. And then also within this same umbrella, we have the non-preferred brand medications. So these are medications that, they are going to be the highest cost, medication under the benefit. But the big differentiator here is that we have found that they are not proven to be safer than the preferred or generic options, and usually just a little more expensive without much ado. So that is why we see they have the higher cost reference there. And then those two below here, maintenance versus acute. So maintenance medications, they're going to be those long-term medications that you're taking on a regular basis for a long period of time, usually more than 3 months. And then acute is just going to be short-term medications that you're only taking for maybe a few days or a few weeks, or just one-off. All right. Excuse me. And then these three items here, the quantity limit, step therapy, and prior authorizations are some other, verbiage that you might see. A quantity limit means that the lower dosage or the lower quantity will be covered without any further criteria needed from your doctor. But after hitting a certain limit, usually more than 30 days or something of that nature, that's where we see a request for a prior authorization or appeals information to be sent in for CVS to make sure that the medication is needed for that higher amount. Under that, we have step therapy. For many conditions, we usually ask that patients look at a therapeutic equivalent medication first, or meet the criteria to move on to the next step therapy medication following it. And the last one there is the prior authorization. This is more of a general term where we just look for the appeals information to be sent in from the doctor over to CVS Caremark, where we review the criteria based on the FDA standards and just make sure that the script there is appropriate and move forward from there. That is all I have here today.